Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the fifth news on 4th March newspaper front page dawn. Opposition asks Prime Minister to resign with honor by our staff reporter. Islamabad, causing a blow onto the ruling alliance headed by the Pakistan delegates of PTI in the Senate elections from Islamabad. An upbeat opposition on Wednesday asked the Prime Minister Imran Khan to resign in an honorable way after the defeat of the government's candidate Dr. Abdul Hafiz Sheikh at the hands of Pakistan Democratic Movement (PDM) candidate Syed Yusuf Gilani. If the Prime Minister the Prime Minister has honor, then he should himself resign from the office. Imran Khan should submit his resignation today, as the demand for his resignation is no more only the opposition's demand, but it has now become a demand of the government members as well, said a cheerful Pakistan People's Party (PPP) chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari while speaking at a news conference at the Zardari House with Mr. Gilani and other senior party leaders hours after results of the elections on the Senate seats from Islamabad were announced by the returning officer. Earlier, the PPP chairman had tweeted, "Democracy is the best bench, dear Bhutto," soon after the announcement of the result. Later, a number of other opposition leaders, including Supreme Leader of the Pakistan Muslim League (PMLN) Nawaz Sharif, through their social media accounts on Twitter, also felicitated Mr. Gilani and termed his election a glorious victory. Later, Mr. Sharif talked to Mr. Gilani by telephone and congratulated him. PMLN President and Opposition Leader in the National Assembly Shehbaz Sharif, who had been brought into the capital to cast his vote through a production order, in a statement said that Mr. Gilani's victory was the expression of a no confidence by lawmakers in Imran Khan's government. Those who have destroyed the people and the country's economy and the vote thieves, sugar thieves, and the floor thieves have been exposed, said Mr. Sharif. Taking advantage of his presence in the Parliament House, Shehbaz Sharif also presided over a meeting of the party's parliamentary group and the senior leaders, in which he bitterly criticized the government's performance, saying that he had never been such a worst government, that he had never seen such a worse government in the country's history. PMLN Vice President Mariam Nawaz also tweeted congratulating Mr. Gilani as well as the PTM leadership. Well done on the PMLN. Congratulations to PMLN members who upheld the narrative of Nawaz Sharif. Future is yours, said Ms. Nawaz in her tweet. In another post, she said, the fake mandate has been snatched back by the people's representatives. Their own people, despite the pressure on them, refused to vote for Prime Minister Imran Khan. The Premier now has no right to occupy the Prime Minister house. Vote chore thief, leave the chair. PMLN Secretary General Ahsan Iqbal said that Imran Khan was a selected Prime Minister and now he has become a rejected Prime Minister. The nation is expecting that Prime Minister Khan, will resign from the office, he said, adding that a government whose ministers did not even know how to vote in the Senate elections had no right to rule the country. Speaking at the news conference, Mr. Bhutto Zardari said that he that the defeat of the Prime Minister from the National Assembly was a historic win for the PDM. He said the PDM leadership challenged the government first in the by-elections and then in the Senate and defeated it. The PPP chairman said that Mr. Gilani's victory was also an expression of no confidence on the IMF dictated budget and a reaction of the people over the prevailing price hike and unemployment in the country. The PDM, he said, would continue its democratic struggle and the war against this puppet government and will soon send this cruel government packing. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Gilani thanked PDM leaders, including Nawaz Sharif, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, Mariam Nawaz, Akhtar Mangal, and said he would personally visit these leaders and to offer his gratitude. In reply to a question, Mr. Bhutto Zardari said that the option of moving no confidence motion against the Prime Minister was still available and its timing and the place would be decided by the BDM leadership with consensus. There will be a long march and there will be no confidence motion. We will decide its timing and place. In a reply to a question about the government's decision to challenge Mr. Gilani's election in the Election Commission of Pakistan (ECP), the PPP chairman simply said that Imran Khan was a sportsman and he should demonstrate sportsman spirit. Mr. Bhutto Zardari evaded a question about the leaked video of Mr. Gilani's son telling the PTI members about the technique to waste their votes, saying that if the government had made an attempt to get its rival candidate, disqualified from the race on a day before the elections, this showed that they already knew the results. PPP Secretary General Faratullah Babar, who was himself a candidate on a technocrat seat from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but lost the election, in a statement termed the victory of Mr. Gilani's win for democratic process and for political engagement more than the win of any individual. Mr. Babar said the Senate elections and the by-polls held a few days ago in various parts of the country had not only strengthened the democratic process, but also vindicated the position taken by the PPP that the political parties should make use of every democratic process in the fight against fascist tendencies. All forms, namely elections, all forums, namely elections, the parliament, the courts, and by reaching out to the people directly, must be availed in a democratic spirit, he said. Mr. Babar expressed the hope that the PTI would accept and welcome the victory of Mr. Gilani as an expression of free will and call of conscience of the voters and not impute any ulterior motives to those who voted for him. Senior PMLN leader and former Sindh governor Mohammad Zubair, while talking to reporters, said that the PTM's victory was the first step towards the ouster of Imran Khan's government. If there is any shame left in Imran Khan, he should resign tonight after dissolving the assembly. He said, adding that this is a huge defeat for a sitting government which used all tactics to win the elections with the support of all other forces. Mr. Zubair said they considered Mr. Gilani's victory a first compensation which they had received for the rigged general election in 2018. The PMLN leader refuted charges that the PDM's victory was the result of vote buying and said all those having powers, money, perks, and militaries were with the PTI. Ministries were with the PTI. Mr. Bhutto Zardari and Mr. Gilani later visited the residence of PDM President Maulana Fazlur Rahman. Talking to reporters, the Maulana said that Imran Khan had no choice but to resign as the nation wanted to fresh elections in the country. He said Mr. Khan had not only wasted his vote but also wasted himself. He said he was convening a meeting of the PDM heads next week to discuss the future strategy of the alliance. And in the end, formal request, if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel and press the like and bell button to get fresh from us. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time and goodbye.